Hello everyone, and welcome to a new video of Firepower Threat Defense series. In this video, we are going to configure the outside and the inside interface on this FTD, which is managed via this FMC. So our outside interface will have access to internet, and the inside interface will connect towards users. These are the respective IP addresses that they will have. And let's jump on to the FMC and start the configuration. So this is the FTD where we need to configure the interfaces. But before I go to configure the interfaces, I need to create some objects. Okay, we had in the lecture before this one, the last lecture, we saw the object management. Okay, in that object management there was one more thing. So one was import objects. Okay, you can have the object definitions written to a comma separated values format and then import the file and it will create all the objects. This is very helpful when you are going to do a lot of objects, like maybe 100 200 objects. Write all of them and just import the file. So I already have a file created. Let me open the file and show you guys how does it look like. So one second. Yeah, this is my file. You can see these are the fields that needs to go in. The top row is mandatory. That row should be there. And then the name of the object, description, type of the object, value of the object, and lookup is really for the FQDN based objects. Okay. So this is the file. That's how it looks in the Excel. Let me show you this file in Notepad as well. Just give me one second. I'll open it in the Notepad for you. Open with and then the Notepad. Okay. So that's how it looks in the Notepad. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to upload this file and create the objects. It should create 4 objects, 3 of type host and 1 of type network, along with the respective values given. Now, I'll say browse, and then this is the file name. Hit open, and then I'll say import. Once the import is finished, it will also show me what objects it created. Okay, you see, it says 4 objects imported. View imported objects. These were the objects that were created. Now, if I hit OK, I should see all the objects. See, this was created, this was created, this was created, and also this was created. And you can edit and see what are the values in them. They all will be imported. See, the description, exactly everything is good, with this import. Now, let's jump onto the FTD device and look to configure the interfaces. So, in order to configure the interfaces, you need to click on this FTD device and then select this pencil shaped icon here under the devices, device management. So under the interface section, we have all the interfaces listed. This sync device button, what does it do is it syncs the interfaces that are present on the device. Okay, suppose you added one more interface or one more network card to the device, you should click here so that it can pick them up. Okay, sync device. See, sync interfaces from device. Okay, now let's configure our interface gig 00. Gig 00 is going to be our outside interface. You see, outside. Now let's hit the pencil shaped icon here. And then first thing we need to do is name the interface. This is like providing the name it on an ASA interface. So now let's give it a name. This is gonna be outside in our case because it goes through internet. Enable the interface, put a description. We'll say uh, outside, outside to internet. Okay. What should be the mode? There are 3 modes available. Passive, when you just want to listen for the traffic and don't want to do anything. None is basically the basic firewall interface type. ER span is when you want to when you are going to use uh, span and want to have ASA receive the traffic, sorry, want have FTD to receive the traffic on this interface and see how the stuff will behave on the FTD. So these two are really IP majorly used for the IPS only purpose. We are gonna select none because we are gonna do access control, etc. as well, and our firewall is inline. In these two cases, your firewall does not need to be inline. Okay, then none. Security zone. What zone my interface will belong to? Okay, in order to create a zone, we can create the zone from here or from the object management itself under the interfaces. So I'll select here. Let me have a zone name. Sorry, this is outside interface. This will belong to the outside zone. You can have same zone name as the interface name, if not a problem. What is the MTU on the interface? What is the priority? Priority is used when you have the PBR. Suppose you have two interfaces that come out of the PBR rule, and those are going to be the next hop. So in order to choose the interface, this priority will be used. Propagate security group tag. This is basically, SGT stuff. And then NVE only. I'm not aware about this as of now, but I'll read about it and let you know, guys. Path monitoring, if you want to perform any kind of path monitoring on this interface. And then IPv4 address. What in IPv4 address this interface will have? You want to use a static, or do you want to have it as a DHCP client, so it gets the IP address via the DHCP or the PPOE? Okay, we'll keep the static, and let's give it an IP address: 253.201/24. Okay, that's the IP address we have here. Yeah, now IPv6, no, my interfaces do not have IPv6, so I'll leave this section. Hardware configuration, speed and duplex can be configured from here. Manager access, if you want this interface also to be used for the FMC connection, you can set that up here. Now, under the advanced configuration, we don't have HA, so I do not need to worry about this active MAC and standby MAC. Under the ARP configuration, if you want to add any ARP configuration to this interface specifically, to be this in order to respond to the ARP stuff. Security configuration. So if I click on security configuration, I see this enable anti-spoofing. I want to enable anti-spoofing. This is a very useful feature. Suppose if you have a subnet behind the interface, so only that subnet can come as a source from that interface. Okay. If any other IP address is coming as a source, this feature will stop it. Allow full fragment reassembly. So if the packets are coming in the fragmented form, then the on this interface, FTD will, I would say, take all the fragments, create a single packet, and then evaluate it. And override default fragment settings is just to override the default fragment settings. Now, you need to hit OK in order to save the configuration of this interface. Similarly, we'll configure gig 0x1 as well. Okay, I'll hit here and I'll type a name inside, enabled, description, I would say towards uh, towards let me say towards LAN. Yeah, that's right. Towards LAN. Mode, again, none, because it's a regular interface, not really passive or ER span interface. Security zone. Let's create a new zone for the with the name of inside to represent the this interface belongs to inside users. MTU, priority, security tag, IP for configuration. 10.0.0.1/24. Okay, that is the IP address we are going to use for the inside. Now, IPv6 none, hardware duplex and the all auto manager access none, we told it up. And let me enable the anti-spoofing on this interface as well. Okay, okay, I'll hit okay. Now, this config is right now present only on the FMC, even if I save it. Okay, I saved it. Now my configuration is present on the FMC. Let me save. Okay, now let me deploy the config. So it goes to the FTD device. And I made the changes to the FTD1. So let's deploy the config to the FTD1. While this deployment happens, I'll pause the video and we'll resume once it's done. Okay. So the deployment is now completed, you can see. But how do I validate that this IP addressing is now applied to the FTD? So go to devices, go to threat defense CLI, select our FTD and run a command, which will be show interface IP brief. You can see gig00 has taken its IP address, and gig 0x1 has also taken its IP address. You can also see their, running config as we see show run interface gr0/0. Let's execute the command. See, this is the configuration that has went on to the interface. Now let's see what's it on the GO0. Yeah, this warning is fine because all the devices connected to this interface are down, so it will not be getting any packets at all for now. Okay, let's see gig 0x1. Yeah, see, that's it. Description towards LAN and the IP addressing has gone in. Okay, so we have configured the interfaces successfully on our FTD1. This red sign is because of one of the interface not receiving any packets. Now, next step is I also wanted to deploy a DHCP server on this interface. Okay, so my LAN users can get the IP address. Let's go to the DHCP section, and then under the DHCP, ping timeout 50 milliseconds, and then lease 3600 seconds. I do not want any auto configuration. I want domain name on this interface to be assigned as ftd-1.com, or let's say .lab. That would mean that you receive the IP address from the FTD just as a point. And then what DNS server I'll use. So when I went on teaching you guys the object management before, that was the reason. Now I select primary should be Google, secondary is Cloudflare. No Win server required. Now we need to add a pool as well. Let's click add. And then on what interface I need a pool? I need on the inside interface. What should be the pool? 10.0.0.2 hyphen 10.0.0.10. Yeah. Or let's move it to 254. Enable the DHCP server on the interface and hit OK. Advanced if you want to use any other, DHCP options. So you can add them here. But that's fine. I'm going to save. And then I'm going to uh, deploy. Yeah. So now I have triggered the deployment on the FTD1. While it deploys the configuration, we will talk about this. This auto configuration is, suppose you have one of the interfaces of the FTD that is a DHCP client and getting some information from the, from the another DHCP server that's providing IP address to it. So in case if you want to supply some information from that received information to your inside clients, then you can select this auto configuration, but not the IP address and the gateway. Okay, just the DNS and probably the Win servers and the domain name. That's it. So now let's see how there's the deployment going on. Uh, yeah, let me just quickly check in the tasks if deployment is complete. Tasks. Yeah, deployment has been applied successfully. Now let's see if I can see if my DHCP configuration has gone onto there. I'll select the device and I need to do show run DHCPD. That's the ASA command for the DHCP server configuration to be checked. See, it has gone in. DHCPD DNS this, DHCPD domain name this, DHCP address this, and DHCP enabled on the inside interface. That's what we wanted. Now let's go back to the device management. And yeah, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, have a good day.